Beast in the Cave by H.P. Lovecraft, adapted by Charles York. I was lost, completely and hopelessly lost in the vast, twisting passages of the Mammoth Cave. No matter where I turned, I saw nothing familiar, nothing to guide me back. I could no longer deny it. I would never see daylight again. The hills, the trees, the sky, all were gone forever. Hope left me, yet even in despair, I remained calm. My studies had taught me the value of reason. Others in my place might have panicked, but I stood still, accepting my fate. Even the thought that I had wandered too far for anyone to find me did not shake me. If I was to die, then this mighty cave would be my tomb, as fitting as any churchyard. I would starve, that much was certain. Some had gone mad in such situations, but I believed I would not. My mistake had been my own. I had strayed from the tour group unseen by the guide and wandered forbidden paths for over an hour. Now I could not find my way back. My torch flickered. Soon, total darkness would surround me. In its dim light, I wondered how my end would come. I recalled stories of the sick people who had once lived in this cave, hoping its pure air would heal them, only to meet strange and terrible deaths instead. I had passed their ruined homes with the group, wondering what such a long stay in this silent world would do to a healthy man. Now I would find out, unless hunger took me first. As my torch died, I refused to give up. I shouted as loud as I could, hoping the guide might hear me. But deep down, I knew it was useless. My voice echoed through the cave, but no answer came. Then suddenly I heard something, soft footsteps on the stone floor. Was I saved? Had the guide come looking for me? Hope surged through me and I nearly called out again. But then I listened more closely. The steps were too soft, too light. A man's boots would have made sharp sounds in the silence. These footsteps were silent and padded like those of a stalking animal. Worse, I heard not 2, but 4 feet moving. Dread filled me. Had my cries drawn some wild beast? A mountain lion, perhaps, lost in the cave as I was? Maybe fate had chosen for me a quicker death than starvation. Yet my survival instinct flared. Even if escape only delayed my end, I would fight. I stood still, hoping the creature might lose its way as I had. But the footsteps drew closer. It had caught my scent, and I crouched, feeling the cold stones on the ground. I gathered a pile of sharp rocks, grasping 2 in my hands, ready to defend myself. The strange steps neared. They were uneven, sometimes like those of an animal, sometimes like those of a stumbling man. What kind of creature lurked in this darkness? Had some beast wandered in long ago and adapted to life underground? It might have fed on the eyeless fish and bats that lived here. I imagined what such a life might do to its body. Then I remembered with horror I would never see it. My torch was gone. Even if I killed it, I would never know what it looked like. My mind spun with fear. The darkness pressed in. The footsteps came closer. I wanted to scream, but terror choked me. I was frozen, my arms stiff, unable to throw my stone. Then, at the last moment, I broke free. Guided by sound alone, I hurled a rock. It struck close, and the creature leapt back. I threw another, hitting it hard. It collapsed, unmoving. Relief crashed over me. I staggered back, breathless. But the creature still breathed, gasping weakly. Fear twisted inside me. I did not approach it. I did not throw another rock. Instead, I ran blindly, desperate to escape. Then I heard a new sound, a steady, metallic clicking. My heart leapt. It was the guide. A faint glow flickered ahead. I screamed, shouted, and ran toward the light. Moments later, I collapsed at his feet, babbling in relief. When I regained my senses, he explained that he had noticed my absence and searched the cave for 4 hours. With his torch beside me, my fear faded and I remembered the creature. I urged him to come with me and see what I had wounded. We walked back, my courage returning with his presence. Soon we saw something on the ground, something pale, even whiter than the stone. We stepped closer and gasped. It was like an ape, but stranger than any we had seen. Its long, white hair hung over its shoulders. Most of its body was bare, its skin ghostly pale. It lay face down, its limbs bent oddly, explaining its strange way of moving. Its fingers and toes stretched into long claws, but they were not like those of an ape. This creature had lived in darkness for years, maybe its whole life. The guide raised his pistol, ready to finish it, but then the creature made a sound, one so strange we froze. It was not like any animal's cry. Had its voice changed from years of silence? The noise continued, a deep, weak chattering. Then its body twitched, its limbs pulled in. With one final movement, it rolled onto its back. We both gasped in horror. Its eyes were black, jet black, sunken deep into its skull. They had no color, no iris. Its face, though covered in hair, was not quite that of an ape. Its features were too human. As we stared, the creature's lips moved. More sounds escaped. Then it lay still. The guide grabbed my sleeve. His hand shook so badly that his torchlight trembled. I could not move. Then my fear faded, replaced by something greater, wonder, awe, and sorrow. For the sounds it had made, the shape of its face, the way it had moved. This creature I had fought in the dark, this beast of the cave, had once been a man.